ladies and gentlemen. Today I got the man, the legend, Mr. Bizzarro.
Oh, you're on.
You're going, what's this guy doing? I don't know, I gotta try it out sometime.
That's
I never
right.
put it in this side, but I figured we got a little bit of light, we cruising.
That's right.
And I get to interview you exclusively.
Going up the road.
Yeah. So before you were rich and famous,
Close another deal.
yeah, we were on the way to San Francisco. But seriously though, Frank, before like you were rich and famous, right? You were young.
Yeah.
You started like traveling when you were 16 or something like that.
Now, first time I left home, I was 16 years old, and I had $31, and I lived in northwestern Pennsylvania, and I was working as a helper at a transmission shop.
Ah.
And a friend of mine, I saw him, and he was hitchhiking out in front of the building. And I said, "Nicky, where you going?" He says, "I'm going to California." I said, "Really?" I said, "You got a minute?" I went in, I asked my boss, I said, "How much I got?" He said, "You got $31.50. I says, "I'll take it. I'm going to California."
When you going? Right now?
I went home, packed my little bag.
Yeah.
Me and Nicky put our thumbs out and hitchhiked toward California. And that was in June. And I was, I think it was somewhere out of St. Louis or something. He decided he wanted to go on the South Trail, and I was going to continue on I-40 west. So I just said, "Nicky, I'll catch you up in California." And I hiked on through, and when I was in Colorado, hiking through, I come out of Denver, and this one fellow picked me up. You know, we got to talking, and he said he was a lighting technician for this summer stock company that does operas.
Yeah.
In Central City, California, in Central City, Colorado. So what I did, I said, "Well, any chance they hire kids, like at my age?"
Yeah.
He says, "Yeah." He says, "You get a job there. It's a summer, it's a summer resort kind of place." I said, "All right." So anyway, he took me to Central City, Colorado, and I got a job in a 4-week run in the Opera Aida, and that was with the New York City Opera Company, and that was the same year that Beverly Sills debuted in opera in 1960. So it's 4 years, and I performed for 4 weeks there, and we were getting paid $3 a performance as a supernumerary. In fact, my book is coming out, My Life as a Supernumerary.
All right.
Which is basically animated
so that's when you started doing the opera. That's when you started.
That's when I started. That's the first time I was ever on stage. And anyway, it went 4 weeks. Had a ball doing it. Left there and continued on to California. Spent a couple weeks. Came into San Francisco and then hitchhiked down south to LA. And being young, we hopped freight trains and tractor trailers and all sorts of things so you could get around. Was in California and down in LA probably for 3 or 4 weeks. Oh. And then hike back because I had to get back by August 18th because we're playing football. And I was a senior. I was going to be a senior in high school, and I had to be back by August 18th. I'd have missed the cut. So
right.
I got back there, but with that little bit of experience and the excitement about like, man, this is kind of fun. You actually get a chance to be up, perform and so forth. They did a show at my high school called it was Kiss Me Kate. Mm-hmm. And I played one of the there's two kind of mini mob guys, and I played one of the mini mob guys. And actually, they liked me well enough. They gave me an award for Best Actor. So the school I went to was called Erie Academy High School. So I got an Academy Award when I was 16 years old.
Congratulations.
Obviously, it wasn't from the right academy, but I still got one.
Yeah.
So anyway, that kind of got me going, and when I graduated, in fact, what was kind of interesting, because of that deal, someone, and to this day I don't know who it was, put my name in for a scholarship.
Ooh.
And it was a full ride. It was room, book, board, and tuition. And it was for 4 years at any college in the state of Pennsylvania.
Nice.
So, in fact, I remember when I did go to college, I came back for Thanksgiving vacation. I used to be a kid that used to hang out on the corner and, you know, watch girls and ride in cars. And pretty much like American Graffiti. Well, that was pretty much what it was.
Right.
So anyway, when I got back for Thanksgiving vacation, a couple of the kids that I used to hang out and stand on the corner with said, "Man, I heard you went away." I says, "Yeah, I did." He says, "Oh man, how tough was it?" I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "I heard you went to jail." I said, "No, I went to school, man." And they just couldn't believe it. I said, "I don't believe it either," but I was there. So anyway, that was kind of like the kicker. You never know. You know, one door opens, another one closes, and you never know what's going to happen next.
Right.
But anyway,
so you took that scholarship?
I got a scholarship, a full ride to university. It's Edinburgh University, which is in
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
And you never know who put that in for you.
I still to this day don't know who put the word in. I had to take a battery test to find out if they were going to make any sense, but evidently it did. So I wound up getting the ride.
Nice.
What was interesting is when I was between my senior and freshman year in college, I took off again, went back to Colorado, was in 2 more operas, was in the La Traviata.
You went back to the same spot you were?
Same place, yeah, same guys. And some of my friends went with me as well.
Okay.
So we all got jobs working in the opera. And we were in La Traviata and Lucia di Lamo. And that was a lot of fun. And then we went on to California. And like I said, and then I had to be back in time to go to school again. So that's when I started going to college. And I went for 2 years, took 2 years off.
Well, what'd you take?
It's actually a teaching college. So I actually have a Bachelor of Science degree in education. And what I did was between my senior year and freshman year in college, like I said, I went back to California, went back to Colorado, and then went to school. And it was kind of interesting. I just needed to take a bit because I was the first one that ever went to college in my entire family.
Right.
And it was kind of
that was a big deal.
Big deal and real culture change.
Right.
Anyway, the 2 years that I took off were kind of interesting. Did a lot of traveling. I got on a motorcycle that I'd built. It was a 500 Triumph rigid frame.
Right.
It had no third gear. And I took that bike and rode down to New Orleans, and then
on a rigid. Man.
Sprung rear hub.
Oh, okay. You had a little spring in your seats.
Yeah, and it ran battery, ran on a magneto.
Yeah. Kickstart
all the way.
All the way.
And my mother's side of the family, when they immigrated from Italy, moved to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I stayed with them for about 3 weeks. And then I went on to California, stayed there about 7 months.
What'd you do in California?
Well, try to pick up little acting parts, and what the heck else did I do? I worked in a gasoline station, and just kind of kicked around. Anyway, I bought an Austin Healey. It was an Austin Healey 100, which is a little sports car.
Right.
I took the front wheel off the motorcycle, got a piece of pipe and 2 U-bolts, bolted it to the back of the little sport car, and drove it back across the country. Went to Europe. I had $300, and I wanted to go to Europe. It was 1964.
Right.
And I had a passport. That was fine. But on Icelandic Air, you can go round trip for $300, or you can go one way for $160.
Right.
And I didn't have any more money. I figured I don't want to take a round-trip ticket. Then I have no money at all.
Right.
So I figured, well, I'll tell you what, give me a one-way ticket. I bought a one-way ticket to Europe. It was supposed to go to Scotland, Renfrew, Scotland. And I landed there. And when I went through immigration...
On a boat or plane?
Customs, what?
You went on a plane or a boat?
No, on a plane.
Okay, then you flew there.
Yeah, I flew there. But what happened was, when I was going through customs, they wouldn't let me actually embark into the country. And they said, you don't have a return fare, you're going to become a ward of the state. And so they were going to send me back to New York, which is where I took off from.
Right, right.
And I said, well, wait a second, let me see if I can talk to somebody and get out. So anyway, I went and found the captain of the airplane that we were flying in. And I asked him where he was going next. He said he was going to Amsterdam. And I asked him if I could get a ride with him to Amsterdam because they were going to send me back to New York. And in those days, it wasn't no big deal. So the guy says, yeah, get on. You can ride with us. So I wound up in Amsterdam. Then I hitchhiked all the way through Amsterdam, went through Denmark, up into Sweden, and then hitchhiked south. And I hitchhiked all the way down into Italy and visited my father's family.
You were on a mission to get there.
Well, and we're doing this on $140 too.
Yeah.
And I had no one from his side of the family ever went back for like 60, 70 years. And anyway, I went back to this little village just outside of Naples.
Right.
A place called Marcinese. And when I was in Naples, in the Marcinese,
I've been there.
Meeting all these relatives, and they were speaking Italian, and I barely spoke any of it. So anyway, that lasted about 3 or 4 weeks. Then I hiked out of there, back up through the